LCS is the league of laning. You could, I could certainly see a bit of truth in that because I think a lot of the bot laners like to play for lane, like they like to play lane dominant champions, pick the Senna, pick the Ashe.
Hi guys, this is Pedro and I'm back with a brand new interview again covering week 2 of the LCS 2024 Spring Split. I'm here accompanied by Eyla of 100 Thieves who just came off of a resounding win over Dignitas in day 2 of week 2, thus going around 2-2 overall record so far as of the time of the recording. So Ayla, once again, thank you so much for taking the time. I just want to start off by just covering this recent match about over Dignitas coming out with a dub after starting off the week with a loss to NRG. So when it comes to rebounding from that match against NRG, what were some of the things that you and the rest of the team focused to then address for this next go around and eventual triumph over Dignitas?
Yeah, so yesterday we played NRG, and I think that game we had a lot of like micro errors. So like we would engage on Sage 1 in Rakan and then hit our skill shots, but always something would go wrong. Like maybe we wouldn't lay out our CC the best, or we didn't use our skills correctly to like one shot that target. And I think that was like a very recurring trend throughout the game. Like one time Vi lived on very low HP, Azir lived on in another fight on very low HP, and then the last fight Jace lived on like no HP, and it just kept on happening and happening. So I think coming out of the game, we reviewed it and we realized like the big areas, like we weren't playing like how we normally do because we have a lot of really talented, like mechanically good players that we didn't execute on our fights. So we knew going to next game against Dig that we'd have to work on that, as well as like other certain specific macro points, like calling our moves off side lane, or like choosing which lanes we play for. Like, do we play 2 lanes and push mid top, or like just that kind of general takeaways from the game that I think we failed on against NRG. So going to Dig game, we knew those were the things that we had to focus on, but I think we went like too sad after the loss from Energy, like so early in the regular season. So like where we handled our loss as well, and we were ready for Dig. I think Dig game we played very scrappy, but definitely our mechanics were better.
Yeah, it definitely was, as you said, a very scrappy affair, one that lasted almost around 40 minutes. And of course, it played out in various different stages of the match, early, mid, and then late game. What do you feel was the major difference for this recent match against Dignitas from your point of view?
Yeah, so just because of the nature of the enemy champions, like they have Vi, Akali, and then Ashin, they consistently have ultimates and tools to engage on us. So like as long as the enemy team is not playing safe, there's bound to be fights because they just keep trying to engage on us on repeat, and
Mhm.
it's just whether you win those fights or not. And if you do win, then the game will close quickly. If it's back and forth or you lose some fights, then obviously the game will go longer. So I think that's what happened to us. Like we had a clean early game, stacked a lot of dragons, and then it got to mid game and we just made a lot of mistakes. Like we didn't identify Akali flanks or took fights in bad positions. And yeah, because of that, the game stalled out for a long time. So even though we got Soul, it was like a very hard process to get there. And even once we got Soul, it's like we needed a Baron or like Elder or something like that to win the fight or win the game. So yeah, I mean,
It
if we played cleaner, it could have been a longer game, shorter game, but definitely made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, it definitely did show in certain points, especially when Dignitas took that Elder Drake at the late stages of the match, and then despite that, you guys were able to overcome that and just take the game away to your favor in the end. And so, taking a look into you specifically, you played the Senna alongside the Varus with Meech, and so Senna has been so far this year only been played in the LCS up to my knowledge. So, what about Senna makes it such a an attractive champion for this league in particular compared to other leagues that are not really selecting that kind of champion?
Yeah, so I think I saw something on Reddit, and it was like LCS is the league of laning, LEC is the league of roaming. and then like I forgot what LPL was like League of Fighting or something like that. But the point is, LCS is the League of Laning. You could I could certainly see a bit of truth in that because I think a lot of the bot laners like to play for lane, like they like to play lane dominant champions, pick the Senna, pick the Ashe, pick Varus, and like play play a very focused lane style instead of like roaming over time or like doing something else. So yeah, I think Senna just fits that really well, where it's like you can match Ashe, which is a very like high priority pick. Senna can match Ashe in terms of priority scaling, like team fighting. She can kind of do all of that, so that's why she's a very popular pick. As well as yeah, like there's so much flexibility when you pick Senna. You can choose to play Senna with a tank and like go for scaling. You can pick her with Seraphine, or you can even just pick her like, with a traditional ADC like we did this game. And yeah, it just allowed us to get permanent priority and stack dragons in our game against Dig.
Interesting that you brought up the whole difference or comparison between LCS and LPO and LCK League of Laning. Do you feel that that's like a good thing to describe, a fair thing to describe the state of the league in terms of specifically laning?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say LCS are like really insane at laning. It's just we like to we like to play lane a lot. So yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a stereotype, but there's some truth to it. You know, it's not black and white, but there's some truth.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. And now taking another direction onto this conversation, you've been able to play a few games now at this point with Meech, specifically in the bot lane duo, and it's one in which, compared to how you've already had a few reps in within the LCS, Meech, in addition to other members such as Sniper, have not been able to do as much, being rookies and all. And so, how's it been trying to find that synergy and just build a relationship on the bottom lane with Meech for you?
Yeah. So just speaking from experience, there's a lot of work you have to put in when you're like a veteran rookie relationship because the veteran has to take care of a rookie. They have to like be patient, teach them a lot, like have a good relationship, like be harsh and like not discipline, like teach them and like correct their mistakes. But there's a very thin line between doing it well and poorly. So I've been focusing very heavily on that and making sure that I'm pushing Meech and like pushing him to get better because he has a lot to work on. But at the same time, making sure that even though I'm being harsh and like even if he's making a lot of mistakes, that he can still perform well and that our relationship is good. So yeah, it's been a very big focus of mine, and I think I've been doing well, but we'll see as the split goes on.
Yeah, because it's such a massive difference for you to be a mentor for someone else as it is from you. Because like back then, you were basically on Meech's shoes per se. Trying to make your way into the LCS and stuff like that. Do you feel a sense of like difficulty when it comes to transitioning from like a newcomer position to now becoming like a mentor position?
I'd say I learnt a lot from my experiences, like playing on. I'd say playing on FlyQuest was the most like rookie veteran relationship I had, like me and Prince. So I'd say I learned insane amount about what I should and shouldn't do, or like how it feels as a rookie, like what you want from your veteran, like how it works best. So I'd say because I learned and like I had a very stressful time on there, I knew or I had a very good idea of how coming into 100 Thieves I would want relationship to be. So I'd say my transition hasn't been too hard. I've had some experiences as well before, like when Yon first came in to the split in academy. He was basically less experienced than me. He was a rookie, so I kind of did the same thing with him. But obviously, I had less experience back then. So yeah, I'd say I was ready to like take the role that I have right now.
Yeah, another interesting thing when it comes to talking about the team and looking at the team, there was a graphic shown in the early parts of week two, well, aka yesterday, about how the team's inexperience, specifically competing in the LCS. Of course, you'd have. as you said, experience before getting into the LCS. What with your performance in O's, and so the same can be said for other players such as Quid and River, given their own journey before getting into LCS. But it sort of goes about how there's not much time or experience within the LCS amongst you guys as a collective. And so, how have you seen the progression of you guys as a whole, as a unit, not just you or you plus Meech, or just you plus Meech plus Sniper, but everyone as a collective?
I'd say with the core we have, like the people who are more knowledgeable, like me, River, and Quid, definitely played more games than the other two. I think we're pretty good at like deciding what to do, but our bottleneck at the moment is like getting the rookies up to speed. Because like in a team, you want everyone to be performing well, you want everyone to have input, and like right now we're at the point where we're trying to push for rookies to do more. But it's not like the others don't do anything. It's like we're still working on other things, but I say that's our biggest bottleneck. But as a group, I say we're definitely overperforming on people's expectations. But it's like people put us really low, so it's not that hard to beat those expectations. Like I think people consider 100 Thieves as a bottom tier team, and then just based off how scrims have been going and like us beating TL, we show like at least we have some potential. Like we'll see as the split goes on how much we actually perform on stage. But I say as a team, we're definitely performing pretty decent, but we have so much more to work on that it's just a question of whether we'll improve on those things because we have been improving. It's just will we keep improving on this?
And hopefully you guys are able to do exactly that for the next ensuing weeks in the season. Ayla, thank you so much for taking the time just answering all of my questions for this interview. I really appreciate it. And best of luck in the future.
I'm happy to